What's going on, guys? It's been a long time since we looked at Tattooed Chef. We were watching Tattooed Chef up when it was looking a little more bullish and looking like it was going to make some kind of double bottom here. And if we broke out of here, we were going to have a pretty good run. And if we broke this $28 level, we were looking up in the 30s and so on and so forth. So we did trend sideways here, and on the bearish case scenario that we were looking at the time was if this was some kind of distribution phase, we had this choppy action here and a dump, right? Choppy action here and a dump, choppy action here and a dump, left shoulder, head, potentially a bigger right shoulder, or some type of triple top. These were all scenarios we were looking at the time, as well as this being a rising channel with the potential of this bouncing if it did bounce somewhere down in this $21 range. And if it broke through that, we were out. I believe I was buying at the time. I was loading up a little bit in this 24 range, looking for a potential move. And I said if we drop below this 24 range here, 24.05 I believe it was at the time. I don't know if it was here that I started loading up or not. But I had a stop loss at 23 something. And, I never looked back at it since. I got stopped out and I was like, all right, see ya. And I haven't looked back since. And I just happened to come across a video on YouTube of somebody talking about Tattooed Chef getting wrecked. And I went, what the heck? What's going on with it? Last I looked, it was up at in the 19s and the 20s and just chilling. And then I looked back and I went, holy crap, this thing has dumped. So I decided to go back in and look at my Tattooed Chef chart here. And this is what I saw. And I said, wow. So it looks like we did play out as that triple top. And potentially this head and shoulders pattern. Potentially. Or just a big M. It's tough to say exactly if this was a head and shoulders. It's not the cleanest looking because this right shoulder is so big compared to this, where this almost looked like a left shoulder ahead, and that was the right shoulder that didn't break and blasted back up. So, we're obviously going to be trading around here, and it's not going to go straight down, even though it looks like it has been, and it's very possible that it continues to. This right here was definitely a left shoulder ahead and another right shoulder here, and this is on the daily. So, we could potentially say, hey, is this a, head and shoulders pattern? And if we broke down from there, look at the target. The target is roughly the target is 1562. This lower trend line support is somewhere between 1570 and 1562. So, what level am I looking for? If I was to be buying this thing, I would be looking for this trend line here. Now, there's no guarantees that it's going to bounce, but a lot like clean energy that we had a video on, we were talking about how there was an area and a trend line that when it wicks to it, it touches it once, chops a little bit, and runs. Touches it once, chops a little bit, and runs. So we're approaching this level here. And there's a level, in my opinion, right around this 1573. Now, of course, if we broke that and we started rejecting underneath it, or we stayed down here for too long, we might want to be a little bit more cautious. But would it be a safe chance to put a buy order down here? It might be worth it, personally. This is the trend line based off of a few wicks here. But, and it is sloping up, so that's why I would say that could be an area to potentially put a buy order in, but you'd have to definitely put your stop loss wherever you would feel comfortable under this trend line. I don't know if it would be a dollar below or how you'd want to play it. And I'm just kind of talking out of this video towards myself because I'm not a financial advisor. But this is something that I would look into. I would be looking to put a buy order somewhere down here at this 1570 to 1578. And, would hope for a big bounce off of it. We'll have to see how that plays out. But if it does play out, and this is speculation, that this could be some type of mean W here that potentially brings us up over a course of as much time as it needs, but you can definitely see the confluence that we have on this trend line here. So I just want to put this video out there quickly, and let's see what happens. Looking at the weekly, unfortunately, obviously it doesn't look too good, but like I said, this is a potential area of a bounce, and the only real difference between then and now is that the price action was still above the 50 weekly EMA, and we got rejected by this 50 weekly EMA, roughly around this $19. But we do have this 200 EMA on the weekly down at 1478 to exactly 1470. So if we did have a wick below this line here, it could come to this 1472 to 1478, buy back up, maybe go sideways on this line and then run, or wick here, buy back up, and then never drop to there again. We don't know for sure, because of course this RSI can, if it wants to, come all the way down as low as it wants. So we have to be cautious as well. So you don't want to catch a falling knife, but I might try this out. I might put a buy order at 1580, and I might put a buy order at 1472 with a stop loss at $14 and see what happens. And in my opinion, if it starts going below $14 and getting resistance below 1440 or resistance below 1550, I'm sorry, which would be this trend line 1550. If it starts trending below here, it's just, get the hell out. We don't need to be holding it right here if it's going to come all the way back down to this $10 range. But it's up to you how you want to play it. But to me, it's worth a little bit of a risk there too, potentially, even though we don't know if that'll be a bottom. It does have a lot of confluence on this trend line, so that's something that I'm willing to take the chance of, but I will keep my stop loss for sure, just to be on the safe side, because there's no, there's not too much of a bounce happening here. But I do have a breakdown target here of 1543, so if we get support here or just hit this target and wick, that might be something good. But as of right now, we are making lower highs every time we come up, and every time we come down, we're making lower lows. So that's not a bullish thing, right? So we just have to be cautious in regards to that. Could we say that this is a big falling wedge? We could say that. Whether we would probably go off of those two wicks there, and we'd have to see what happens. And if we bounced here, then ultimately we'd want to break this $18 level to potentially back test this $21 level, 2160 to 2110, and then we'll have to further analyze from there if it's gonna just drop again. But that might not be too bad of an attempt. So I just want to put that out there real quick, and hopefully that's helpful. Peace.